lead. They're getting a little wobbly.
Justin Chapman rebound. Robbie Ryan for three. He hits it, and we are tied.
Terry's three. It's good. Johnny Walker. Flashing up against control. His shot. Bruce score. They score. They tie the game up 2-2. He drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse.
Wow.
5 seconds to go. Find Hawk. Hawk spins. It rolls on. And Arizona State wins it. Edwards pulls off. And buries the front.
Daniels takes the shot for Derby.
What is up, all? Welcome on into Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratanudo at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as the Twitter, as you know it. You see it on my IG as well, michael.caratanudo.5. And by the way, Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you missed the awesome interviews we had last week. Again, two newly minted Pac-12 Coaches of the Year in men's golf. We had Matt Thurman in women's beach volleyball. We had Kristen Rohr on. Also had Taryn Ames on from beach volleyball. So, and that was just last week alone. So, inevitably, go to my YouTube channel. If you're watching this live, go there anyway and subscribe. It'd be awesome. But if you know other Sun Devil fans that are unable to check this out live, they can go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. And it's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC005 on YouTube, and subscribe away. Again, at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC005 on YouTube, and subscribe away. So some of the stuff you saw off the top. This was baseball's game yesterday, the fireworks game, the all-offense game, the ball carrying out a Phoenix Muni game. But nonetheless, the Devils prevailed, won the series 2-1, and over the Huskies, so got a series win, which is awesome. But Nick McLean hit a home run in every game of the series, and he's hit a home run in – I want to say the last four, at least the last 4 games, if not 5, and I'll look at that in a second. But yes, so this here, which I will put back up, this is Lamb, who start the game. Well, okay, so his first up, I had 2 home runs yesterday, and this double right here, Brandon Compton, that overall this season has been on fire as the lefty. Big fans who obviously dug out, loving that. And then after Brandon Compton, we see another home run. They got 21. This is the right score. It's not a football score, kids. They got the 21-18 victory yesterday over Washington. I mean, it was literally back and forth and back and forth. Yeah, I was literally back and forth. So, but 21-18, they get the victory over Washington. They take the series 2-1. Obviously, the Devils had they had the walk-off. Nick McLean hits the walk-off dinger Friday night. They go to extra innings. Washington was up by 2. It was 7-5, and then ASU tied it up, bases loaded, and Nick McLean hits the dinger, walks it off 11-7. Then they got down 12-1 and then 14-1 on Saturday. But after those first few innings, and I mean, Jacob Tobias said, mentioned it Saturday night that, he's like, yes, we see the score, but don't think that they played bad. They battled back. They got it back to 14-9, and Ryan Campos hit this. Great contact, and if it was literally 1 foot to the right or left, it drops down, and then the tying run is coming up to the plate. So on Saturday, so it ended up being 14-9. And then yesterday, 21-18, both teams' pitchers. And yeah, when you see a score like that, you're like, man, the pitchers were throwing drunk. No, it is Phoenix Muni. The wind was, the gusts were picking up, and the wind was blowing out more toward, I wouldn't say straight center, like towards from left to right. But look, both teams, And yes, there were some pitches that weren't great. I'm not going to be blind to that. Willie Bloomquist did get thrown out. I will touch on that in a minute. He got bounced from the game, and I know there was something on whatever was Stat Track or whatever saying the pitch that he was upset about, and even the guy saw was, it was called a ball. Look, it's nothing to do with being a homer show, right? From where I was sitting, looking right down, that was a strike. And so we'll get into that because the umpire conversation there went, some things were said from the dugout, and then, so it went, and then another few pitches happened, and then Willie was coming out to, and look, I was watching him walk out. He didn't, he wasn't happy about the calls, but then the umpire walked out to the mound. So we'll get into that. But that was 21-18 yesterday. And no, it was not like I said, not a football score. 3 touchdowns to 6 field goals, right? But nonetheless, they hold on and win. Like I said, Compton hit 2 home runs yesterday. And just overall, there's been, everybody's got lulls in a season, but he really didn't hit too much of one, has Brandon Compton. And yes, Phoenix Muni is a hitter's friendly park, but he hit one. I think it was, they said it was 467 feet, and it happened to go out right over the national championship sign, which has obviously the national titles up there from the Devils in program history. So yeah, but Ethan Mendoza hit another one. Nick McLean hit another one. Man, it's just, again, and then the pitching, not all bad. I know you see, well, they put up 18 runs. Well, both teams were making contact. It was one of those days. Yes, there were some pitches that missed their spots and didn't hit their spots. Absolutely. Does it happen in baseball? Both teams, even for Washington. I'm not going to say, oh yeah, ASU was just so lasered in. All of Washington pitchers were right where their pitches were. No, of course there were some pitches that missed and guys were able to take advantage of. But overall, the pitching was not terrible. So I just, I know it's a crazy sell, and I'm not just saying just for ASU, even for Washington, but yeah, we'll get into that. And then the last one I showed you, obviously, it was the last regular season weekend in Pac-12 women's softball. I should say Pac-12 softball, but nonetheless, and I'll show you some pictures coming back in a little bit, but from senior night. And but it was a tough one yesterday. ASU, it was close. They battled. They were battling. It was 6-4, but then UCLA put up 2 in the top of, I want to say, the 6th or 7th, one of the 2. But it ended up being 8-4 the final. But Deb Jones, for what she's had to go through, what the team has gone through, not just her, but what the team has just faced, and with injuries, and even I've talked about it, being down that road with injuries, but coach sent her back out to the mound for the 7th, and then after a batter, he came in, Coach Bartlett came in, and got Rib Jones, obviously got hugging her teammates again, their last home game, and coming off the field and again kind of rested. Very talented pitchers we've seen, and that's why I even asked Coach Bartlett earlier in the season, like pitching Friday, she pitched her Friday and Sunday, and the second time seeing her, or the second time she saw hitters, and just how she would adjust, and again, not that they she got lit up for 15, 20 hits the first time through seeing the team. No, but it's just, she was tough to face anyway, but then the tougher she got the second time. So, and like you said, Coach Bartlett, you said it a few times on here. She's known her since she was a pup, 14 years old, when I think she said when she first met her, and obviously recruiting her, getting her to go to Balls, getting her to come to Ball State. And then she obviously transfers out to ASU, reunites with Coach Bartlett, but again, just very obviously class act, and it's one of those things where, yeah, softball. I mean, they're headed to the Pac-12 tournament. They're the 9 seed, the last seed, the 8-9 playing game between Oregon State is on Wednesday, and I shall get to that. Yes, I shall get to that. But yeah, I mean, Deb Jones and I mean the other seniors, it's just been, yeah, I mean the bench got shorter, and some of the younger pups were some of the younger pups had to get the birth by fire, and not that they can't play, but just again getting used to college softball, and then obviously what this conference is in softball and can do. UCLA, number 7 team in the country, they get the series sweep, but man, it's a team that it would be very interesting to see how they do, like I said, in the Pac-12 tournament, and I will get to that as well. But by the way, Oregon State, who is favored to do a lot in this postseason baseball wise, because Travis Bazzana breaks the single season home run program record. We saw him play. When the Devils went to Corvallis, and yeah, he's but he did it. And crazy enough, up top of the Pac-12, given the Pac-12 baseball standings real quick, that team down south is 17-7 in conference play. They're up top. Utah is 15-9. Oregon State is 14-9. Oregon is 14-10. Oregon is 14-10. SC is 12-11. Both Cal and ASU are 14-13. So ASU did jump Stanford, beating Washington 2-1. Very, very beautiful thing. Then you have Stanford at 11-13, and that is ASU's next opponent. Next Pac-12 opponent. Their next opponent tomorrow. Obviously I did not forget about that. That team down south will be in Phoenix Muni tomorrow. So yes, and I shall be there for that. But Stanford obviously is the next game that counts for conference records. So I mean, you win 3 there. You sweep Stanford, which again would be tough to do, but a challenge, as we know. But it would be a challenge, but it's one of those things where if they're able to at least win the series, get 2 out of 3, so you'd be 16-14, but you get all 3 and you're 17-13. And so, and Cal actually doesn't have any this weekend coming up. They're taking on San Jose State. So it's their rotating weekend to not have a conference game, but we'll get into that later in the week. Right now, though, again, ASU, like I said, 14-13. And they're ahead of Stanford, Washington, Washington State, and UCLA. So, yeah, I mean, and they're the 7 seed right now. Well, again, and tied with Cal. So, yeah, so we'll get into that in a teeny bit. But, yes, that is where they are at. So, but, yeah, baseball-wise, like I said, it's you go crunch time because you have this Arizona game, then you have your last Pac-12 series because the last weekend is their, odd weekend with only being 11 teams in the Pac-12. So it's their odd weekend, and they have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, again, 2 against Texas Tech, 1 against UNLV. So, again, that can get them ready too. So just, keep on rolling here. So that is where they are at. So we're gonna step aside though, but when I get back, we actually will hear from Willie Bloomquist from yesterday. And yeah, it's it'll be, and some of the players as well too. So we'll hear from Willie Bloomquist, and then the players after yesterday's, again, 21-18 run Fiesta fireworks explosion. I won't say no pitching because, again, it's just, hey, again, each level higher and higher up, guys are gonna have good swings. Guys are gonna make contact, and that's what they're there to do. Yes, were some of the pitches bad, like I said in the beginning? Absolutely. Did pitchers miss spots? Absolutely. But overall, again, when ASU needed some pitches, they definitely got it. So we shall step aside, and when I get back, like I said, we will hear from Willie Bloomquist and a few of the players from yesterday after getting the series win over the Huskies. That's right. Absolutely enjoyable. More Pitchfork Lunch coming up. All right, welcome back into Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as the good old Twitter. And you can see the show live there. And my IG, michael.caratino.5. And YouTube, guys. Go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. It's at Evans and Michael V's and Victory C's and Cat 005 at MVC005 on YouTube. And subscribe. Because, again, if you're watching live, you'll see this. But if not, if, you know, your friends aren't, then people aren't, then let them know. Because, like I said, I told you we're going to hear from Willie Bloomquist. And so without further ado, here's him after, yes, 21-18 victory and the series win. And, you know, after getting tossed out of the game, he's got a few funny answers. So here is Coach Bloomquist after yesterday's 21-18 win over the Huskies.
The team's resilience has been on display this entire weekend, but none bigger than today, especially after being ejected in the 8th inning. What do you have to say about how your guys fought?
I mean, awesome. I mean, as far as the resiliency and the no give in factor, I think was awesome. You know, all weekend really for our guys, which makes me happy. You know, that's like I say, you're sometimes going to have ugly games like today, but better to be ugly and on top when you win than to come out on the losing end. But yeah, our guys battled every inning that seemed like of every game this series, and you know, on a crazy day where you knew it was going to be one of those days here at Muni with gale force winds blowing out, and I mean, it's just a matter of who was going to take the last punch and who was going to hit last. You know, kind of seemed like who was going to win this one, but you know, we got up, we got down, we got up, we got down, and gave up leads and came back and took leads, gave them up, and they just kept on going. So I'm happy with the will to continue to fight. That was an impressive weekend. You know, all 27 innings this weekend, 29 innings, I guess.
When the wind's obviously going like your time, the ball goes out here, and from a pitching standpoint, though, I mean, guys obviously aren't making bad pitches. Guys are getting hits. What's the challenge in talking to the pitchers, even just between innings, to kind of keep them even keeled?
It's a challenge, you know. You know, you just got to tell them, try. The biggest thing in games like this is that outs are worth their weight in gold, so we can't give up extra outs, and we did a couple of those today. And you can't give up free bases. You know you're going to give up runs, especially in a day like today. It's going to happen. Guys are going to get fisted and hit the ball out of the ballpark, and I don't know how many balls off the end or fisted that got out today on both sides. But the key to those type of games, in my opinion, is not giving up extra outs defensively and not putting on free bases, you know, from hit by batters or base on balls. And we, you know, still had too many of those today again. But at the end of the day, I get it. You know, pitchers are maybe a little leery to throw to contact based on the elements, but we got to be better than that and continue to attack the zone.
We're talking about resiliency and some guys having approaches, changing adjustments game by game or within a game. Jacob Tobias today, I mean, a struggling start, but that big single tied up, you know, in the final frame. What are you going to talk about? I mean, his offense form to be able to get that big hit after such a struggling performance compared to the rest of the offense that was going crazy.
I'll have to watch it on video, but it sounded like he got a great hit. So happy that he got a big hit in the key situation there. You know, a couple. Yeah, I mean, everybody was swinging the bats pretty well and finding a lot of holes today, and then you're that one guy that's not finding the hole. It kind of can be discouraging or whatever, but you know, Toby's picked us up so many times throughout this year and his career that you know, you just know it's a matter of time before he comes up with a big knock, and couldn't have come at a better time there in the 8th. So good for him. I was happy for him.
Take us through that.
What did you make of Fitzpatrick and Schieffer coming in at the end? Obviously, you hit the home run, but outside of that, they really helped you get to the finish line there in a day where it just was not going the pitcher's way.
Yeah, I think Fitzy's performance was kind of the under the radar, you know, great job, and we all know about the homer and the ensuing discussion after that, but I thought Fitzy was throwing the ball outstanding, and it was kind of giving us a chance to breathe there for a second, and you know, we were starting to run out of arms going, okay, if we go 1-1-1, we're about there at the end, and Fitzy was able to give us, you know, 2+ there, and, you know, was throwing the ball really good, I thought, and, it was unfortunate. I haven't looked at the video, but all indications thought it was a pretty good pitch.
Take us through that 8th inning exchange and what you can tell about us. What made you frustrated in the moment? And
just this type of game, man. Like you know that man. Every pitch matters, and if you guy makes a good pitch, it's again. I don't know if it was ball strike, so I could be completely wrong. And I'll have to go back and look at it and maybe eat crow if it is off the plate. But it certainly seemed like a good pitch, and you know against that kid who's torched us this weekend. Give him one more pitch, what happens? You know, 3-run homer, and all of a sudden there goes a lead, and these games are huge for us. So that was an intense moment. It was, you know, a buildup of emotions, maybe a little bit on my part, but on the same token, man, like we got to have that pitch if it's a good pitch, and it certainly seemed like it. The guys seemed like it. When I went out and talked to Fitzy, I only had about 2 seconds to talk to him before he was already out there. So clearly there was, you know, his part, I don't know what he was looking for. I'm not allowed to talk to my pitcher for a second or two, but you know, he knew what was going on probably and wanted to continue that discussion, and I just told him he missed it, and he didn't think so. So, hey, it is what it is. I'm gonna stand up for my players, and they all thought it was a pretty good pitch. So, at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's baseball. You can have disagreements in baseball. It's okay. And I had to hit the showers early. That's okay. But my boys picked me up, and I'm happy for that.
You were saying that exact same thing. You know, he wanted to, he and the team as a whole wanted to pick you up after you kind of helped him, you know, pick them up in a little bit of a way. Talk on Friday about Murph and how he's been able to be a big guy with the Brewers right now, and his aspect out there. How do you feel a moment like that of this group wanting to back you up? It shows the camaraderie of this team, and it shows the backing of this tradition.
Well, it makes me happy. That's how. You know, if they looked at it that way, that they wanted to pick me up, I guess that makes me feel good. You know, but at the same token, the most important part is I want those guys to know that I got their back. And there's times where guys come back and complain about balls and strikes, and it's, you know, yeah, I'm not gonna get tossed every time someone has a complaint, because I'd never finish a game if that were the case. But in that moment, in that situation, with our season situation, everything kind of seemed to be on the line right there. And I thought our kid executed a pretty dang good pitch. I'm gonna stand up for him.
You talked about kind of everything this weekend, kind of felt like the season was on the line. I asked you the same question on Friday. I'll kind of ask you again to look back at the whole weekend, even in the loss where you battled back down 14-1 and made it a closer game at the end. How do you feel this weekend you represented the program as a team?
From a resiliency and a mentality standpoint, couldn't be better. I think the guys, hopefully they showed everybody that there's no quit, there's no give in this team. They're going to keep fighting, and from that, like I've said, you're going to have days where you don't play well, but you still obligated to represent this program the right way. And sometimes all you can do is keep throwing haymakers and fighting, and that's what our guys did this weekend. Look at the scores. Were they pretty? No. I don't think anybody would say they're pretty, but from an offensive standpoint, they're pretty. But the fight that we showed, I think, top to bottom in every game, I don't think there should be anybody complaining about that.
You mentioned earlier this year how hitting is contagious. Now, over the last week, I think you guys scored north of 70 runs in your 5 games this week. What's kind of clicking for the offense as opposed to, or does everyone kind of come together to kind of support that thing more? Hitting is contagious, or is that still what you believe?
I mean, it's first things first. I'm not naive. We're hitting a pretty good ballpark right now with the elements that we have. Everybody knows at the end of the year the ball carries here very well when it starts warming up, and so the balls are going to fly a little bit more. You get away with a few more mistakes when you're swinging that you maybe not get away with earlier in the year. But on the same token, guys are squaring it up a pretty significant amount too, and not taking anything away from the offensive production, because they are swinging the crap out of the sticks right now. It's been fun to watch. So their approaches have been great. They're on time for the fastballs. They're starting to lay off spin in the dirt, which has been our Achilles up until the last 3-4 weeks. at the end of the day, that's what we've been trying to preach all along, and they're getting it, and it's fun to watch. So also putting the game in motion and guys executing that part of it, or going first to thirds and keeping the merry-go-round going. It's just it's a lot fun. It's a lot more fun brand of baseball when you can put the game in motion and execute and have those type of things.
With the offense at times being able to, or like you said, get away with some mistakes, and the opposite on the pitchers and lesser mistakes being able to be given up. Is there anything you guys have to push for these pitchers more, or anything maybe to be able to emphasize in a ballpark like this that's getting balls flying out of here a little quicker?
I think, like I said, A is not to get discouraged and forget the numbers, right? Muni is just a different beast when it comes to being a pitcher. Don't look at the numbers, right? It's not, you know, people are going to chirp about ERAs and all that type of stuff. Well, go ahead, bring anybody in here to Muni. You're not gonna have a good ERA here. It is what it is. So the biggest thing is to just try to keep them confident. Like, don't look at the numbers, man. Just try to execute your pitches. Don't beat yourself. And you know, we've tried to preach to our pitching staff. We don't have to be the best pitching staff in the country. We just got to be better than that pitching staff today. That's it. And today was probably the epitomizes that, right? Neither of us were very good on paper, but we were just a little bit better. Didn't give up as many runs. So in this type of, I guess we get later in the year like this, we have to, obviously I don't just want to make a habit of walking guys and giving up free bases or whatnot, but we have to be able to locate the fastball. And if guys beat us on well-located pitches, tip your hat, but let's not beat ourselves.
Coach, who are you planning to start on Tuesday against
It's a
Arizona?
great question. You got any ideas? You know, the kid we didn't use this weekend was Alvy, and he was hot today to come in, and Fitzy kind of started rolling a little bit, and I didn't want to mess with somebody that was having success, so I kept Fitzy in there and then went straight to Sheaf, and Alvy was going to back him up in case he got into trouble. But you know, Alvy would be an option. We're going to have to sit down and figure that out, because after we've been bruised and battered a little bit this weekend, we're going to have to figure out who's hot and available and who's going to be effective.
A lot of guys got used multiple times this weekend. Where does the bullpen stand for Tuesday?
Again, great question. We're going to see how they bounce back tomorrow, and ultimately probably play it by ear and see how they feel on Tuesday. It might just be one of those an inning type days. We're kind of scuffling on a midweek starter currently. Thank God we're toward the end of this midweek stuff. I think this is our last one, right? So I don't know. We'll figure it out. I don't know if Halby will probably be the front runner. I got to talk to Sammy about that, but I would guess Halby would probably be the front runner to start, and then we'll figure it out and try to piece it together from there.
Is there anybody that you threw Friday and today that you would feel comfortable throwing on Tuesday, or is that kind of?
I think it'll all just depend on how they bounce back and how they feel tomorrow and ultimately Tuesday. You know, Sheaf threw Friday and today. Fitzy did as well. Matt Teating. So, I mean, all three of those guys are usually guys that bounce back pretty quick, that I could see at least giving us an inning maybe on Tuesday. So, see how they bounce back.
You said earlier this weekend, you guys have finally taken ownership of the clubhouse the way that you wanted. When did you start to notice that?
You know, probably after the Fullerton loss. It was pretty embarrassing. I think we had one more kind of final discussion as a full staff and team, and kind of said, it's up to you guys at this point. You guys start taking ownership, it's your team. As far as the product, that you guys are the ones that control how you play on the field, and not me. And at the end of the day, I've told you all I can tell you, and I'm going to keep coaching you and loving on you and all that type of stuff. But it's your guys' clubhouse. You guys want, you know, that type of stuff to. You guys create your own energy and your own moxie in there, and they've done a great job since.
Ethan Mendoza at the start of this year was really impressive, at least as a freshman, the way he would hit the ball. And now the power's come on for him lately, and now in the big spot tonight, put you ahead and get the 3-run homer. How do you just speak to his development and what he's been able to do for this team?
I heard the swing was pretty good. The homer sounded like it was awesome. Would have loved to have seen it, but I'm just happy for him. He kind of went there in the middle part of the season. I think had a little bit of a lull. I think it is like all freshmen do when they first playing at this level from high school. Is there's going to be that mid-season or late season as we saw last year, kind of peak and plateau and then drop off a little bit. And I think he's kind of got a second wind a little bit and is starting to adjust to the rigors of playing every day and being in there every day and the mental demands that it takes to play every day. So, but happy with how he's been producing and contributing to a lineup that's it's just one more good bat in that lineup that makes me smile and it's okay if we can put a tough out at every one of those 9 spots, then we'll make those guys work really hard to get through a game against us, and he's done a good job.
Last time to anybody really in that lineup today, whether it be Mendoza, Campos, but McLean specifically went 5 for 5 today. If you talk about his performance and really this entire series as a whole, obviously you're emotional after the Friday night win and the way he kind of overcame the struggles in the ninth and to walk it off. Is this the kind of hitter that you expect to see from him on a regular basis, or is he just kind of getting ramped up now?
I told you he was close. That's the Nick McLean we know. So he's starting to get hot. He's starting to feel it. He's starting to stay in his legs and his swing, and that's the kid we've kind of been waiting for, or knew that it was coming, but now it's starting to come to fruition, and it's that kid gets rolling, he can carry us. So hopefully that's just the start of it.
Arizona's a guy who's just kind of gone in there to not think about it that much and just hit the bat. That's kind of been his approach. Go back into this.
I think that walk-off homer really did a lot for the psyche. I mean, as it would anybody, right? It just kind of gives you that boost, like, I came through and helped our team win, and with a big, huge hit there. And I think sometimes that just throws the weight off your shoulders and lets you just go relax and play. So that might have been the big hit that he just kind of needed to relax, trust himself, and say, okay, I can do this. And blink your eyes, he's already up to 300 basically right now. So he's going to keep going, I think.
Arizona's been winning a lot of games since the last time you guys played, and one of their outfielders earlier today, I think it was Brendan Summerall, said they want to beat you by 100 and not give up a single run. How does that add to the passion of this rivalry, obviously, and what does it mean to you to get another crack at them, and with them coming in even more motivated now?
Good luck, kid. Bring it. Let's go. We ain't going to back down from anybody. So that's good that they're that confident, so are we. So this will be a fun one.
You guys are hot. They had a pretty good weekend. How fun is this environment going to be on Tuesday night?
I would anticipate it'll be a pretty good one. So I'm excited for it. I know our guys are excited for it. There's obviously the history. Don't need to bring that up, but it'll be a fun one. I think our guys will be ready to go.
Do you use that kind of comment as a bulletin board material, or do you just kind of?
There's been enough stuff happen in this series that's bulletin board material. So that's just whatever. Go ahead, say what you want to say. We'll be ready to play, and at the end of the day, we want to beat them by 100 as well. So, and if we get the opportunity, we won't stop.
There was a report earlier this weekend that the NCAA is considering taking out the 11.7 scholarship limit for each program. As many scholarships as rosters wants. Just wanted to give you an opportunity to comment on that, if you heard about that, or how that would impact this program.
I have heard rumblings and rumors of it. I'm not, when it happens, then I'll get excited, I guess. But I think it'll certainly impact a lot of things. Not only our sport, but probably a bunch of other sports too. But as far as our program is concerned, I mean, I think there would be a lot of happy young men in there, and their families would be extremely happy that they would be, if I'm understanding it correctly, it's kind of all or nothing, right? Or basically everybody's on scholarship. So I think that would make for a lot of happy families that are here, that wouldn't have to come out of pocket. So I think that would be huge.
It's on the questions about pitching at all, but last time we heard, Burns possibly an inning or two, possibly against Stanford this next week. Any progression for his development and his return?
I think Tommy got off the mound yesterday and felt pretty good and is, for all intents and purposes, ramping up. I don't think we're going to have him for Stanford, but it's more likely the following weekend, maybe just to get his feet wet again, and then hopefully have him for the tournament.
Cool. And there he is. There's Willie Bloomquist. Obviously, lots to cover there, talking about, Nick McLean. And that's the thing about this lineup, hitting-wise, before I get to the ejection. That's the thing about lineup, hitting-wise. Like, Ryan Campos is leading off, right? He leads off. So, and outside, the first at-bat of the game is but he's getting contact. A kid that's drawn a ton of walks. And now, you get in the lineup behind him, somebody, hitting. You have a Jacob Tobias, you have a Nick McLean, you have a Brandon Compton, you have, Ethan Mendoza. Yes, he's been, obviously been growing, freshman, but hitting, and now the power, like you heard the question asked there. But yeah, Nick McLean, like, it's just, if that walk-off starts a heater, yes, Sun Devil Nation will be very, very thrilled, and we want that heater to keep continuing tomorrow night. The ejection, like, Willie said, he came out and talked to the umpire. And look, if he was jawing at him on the way out, making comments, that's one thing. But Willie got to the mound, and the infield was there. And again, not that he was, probably he wasn't saying it loud, acting like, oh, so the umpire here. And then the home plate umpire walks out. Again, with what Willie said, if he deserved, if there's magic words or things, you're going to sit there, you're going to complain about balls and strikes, this and that, but magic words, you're not going to be able to, you can't say. But he ends up getting tossed, and the umpire walked out. Again, to me, yes, it's an equal level of, okay, you can state your opinion. Yes, let's, whatever, have a conversation. Not, you're always not going to get thrown out. But, like, why is the umpire walking out to the mound? Nothing. And look, Willie said his piece. It was pitch or two before he said his piece. He just stepped to the top of the dugout and, was on the ground and saying, having a conversation. He didn't go out to the, out to home plate, get in his face, cause a scene, whatever. So then, again, unfortunately, the 3-run home run, but then he comes out to talk to Fitzpatrick, and the umpire, literally, it was like 2-3 seconds. He was on the mound, and the umpire's walking out there. Sorry, that is a, like, again, words were not being said and to him, and yet he walks out to the mound to continue it, and then he throws out Willie as the new pitcher's coming in anyway. So as Ryan Schieffer was coming in. So either way, any level, I get it. You don't want to be disrespected, and there's a mutual respecting, 100%, absolutely. But for the umpire to walk to the mound, no, complete Bush League. So, again, and even if it would have happened to that team down south, can I say it's complete Bush League? Because would I say it the same way? Yes. Would I not be sad? I wouldn't be sad about it. But nonetheless, it's Bush League to walk out there like that. So with nothing being said, if stuff's being said, different story, absolute different story, but no. So nonetheless, that was Willie Bloomquist. Now we will hear from Ryan Schieffer, Brandon Compton, Ethan Mendoza, and Sean Fitzpatrick. Obviously, Mendoza and Compton went yard yesterday. Compton went yard twice yesterday. And, yeah, just, again, batting average, everything on fire. So, without further ado, here are the 4 victorious Sun Devils from yesterday and getting the series win as well.
In the clubhouse, coming home into the dugout in the 8th inning, having the game where it was and having really ejected was in the clubhouse.
I think everyone was confident that we were going to go out there and score runs. I mean, I don't think anyone had any doubt. I think even if it went to the 9th inning, I think we're still going to come out on top. I think we're swinging it excellent.
So when you came off at the end of the game and met Willie in the clubhouse, what was his reaction?
He just said good job, and then just walked away. So.
Ethan, for you specifically, that home run was of a day where 39 runs, 45 hits, none bigger than that. Take me through your approach to that at bat.
Yeah, I mean, we got the scouting report. I mean, Goffey just pretty much told me to see the ball up and try to the ball in the air, and I just got a hanging slider, and I can do something with it. I just did it, and I mean, it went over, so that's good.
Brandon, you popped a couple out today too. One of them 470 feet. How do you feel you're seeing the ball right now, especially off of lefties as well?
Yeah. I just think if I'm on time, ready to go, getting good pitches to hit, and not like chasing, I feel like I'm always in a good spot to do damage. So, I mean, yeah, it showed that.
You look at this entire weekend and the resiliency that you guys showed in all 3 games. Lucas was talking about earlier this season, this team needing an edge. How do you feel that's been able to develop, especially in a series like this?
I mean, being at ASU, the wind blows, so obviously it's always going to be on offense. It's adversity for pitchers. It's adversity for hitters too, because it's like as soon as you get a lead, it's like, dude, like it's gonna come back, and you're just never safe, you know. So it's like you have to play every pitch as hard as you can, and that's how you can win games.
You see so many guys in this order being able to produce. I mean, 1 through 9, it seems like every single night. For your guys' approach, how confident does it allow you guys to be at the plate when you know somebody else behind you is we're gonna get a base hit like it was today?
I mean, we're following all our roles, you know. We're doing what we're supposed to do as a lineup, and it's pretty awesome to see, you know. Like I've said it before, as it gets hotter, more wind happens, so the immunity gets even crazier, you know. So more balls are gonna leave, and you saw for Washington as well. So I mean, it gets fun, you know. It's what it's fun.
Lucas talked about this ownership that you guys have taken with the clubhouse and the locker room. When he gets ejected in the 8th, what's the thought process? Is, you know, being it's going back and forth.
There's a little bit of fire in there, honestly. This is a tight clubhouse, and we have a lot of respect for each other and our coaches as well. So when we had our backs there, getting thrown out, so we had to have his back there.
So, Fitzpatrick, for you, when it wasn't at the mound to put the ball in the receiver, what was your say the receiver when you got up there? And then for you, just in your outing, pretty much perfect up until that call, that borderline. Want to know what was your thought on that, and outside that, what was really working for you outside that?
Well, what was working for me was I was getting ahead of hitters, so like just jumping counts, like early getting strike 1, strike 2, which, I mean, the batting average goes down a lot when you have 2 strikes on a guy. As for what I told Schiefer, I told him to pick me up because, you know, I didn't have it that last inning. Like, you can't walk that guy like after you get a quick out. Whatever the question call, I mean, I executed the pitch where I wanted to, whether we got the call or not. Like, the next pitch I thought was still a good pitch, but he put a good swing on it, and the wind's blowing out a little bit, so I mean, anything up in the air has a chance. So I mean, overall, like, I wasn't upset about the call or anything. Like, I mean, looking back, it would have been nice for it to have been called a strike, but I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day.
After a dramatic win like Friday's and then that relative letdown of Saturday, now an insane win like today, how do you keep from maybe having a little bit of the downturn against Arizona now on Tuesday?
It's gonna be the same kind of baseball we saw today. It's gonna be a lot of just fun baseball. You know, it's gonna be very high intense. I mean, going back to what you said about Saturday, I mean, we just had a couple bad innings, but overall, I felt like our offense did really good, and towards the end, our pitchers did really good too. So it's like, I mean, there was a lot of positives in that game too. So throughout this week, I felt like we've done really good. Last 2 weekends, we've done really good. We've been winning series, so I think we're just going to carry it over in Tuesday's game and move forward with it.
For you guys on the corners, I mean, both of you guys, multiple outings across this weekend, and another long stretch of games throughout this week. How do you guys feel as a whole, you guys kept conditioning with such a long week this deep in the season?
Now that we're kind of towards the end, we can kind of see the finish line a little bit, and we're just pushing as hard as we can to win every single game here on out, and that's kind of our best chance. We don't really know where everything's at, so we're just going to try and win every single game and put us in the best position.
Brendan Summerhill from Arizona. Had a quote today. I don't know if you guys saw it. It's on Twitter. We want to score 100, give up 0. Obviously, you guys won the series in Tucson. Just want to give any of you an opportunity to respond. There's a lot of passion in that kind of matchup.
I mean, we'll play them Tuesday, so we'll be ready.
Yeah. I mean, don't have anything to say.
Pretty much all you guys are new to the team this year, new to the rivalry. what's Tuesday night going to be like emotionally for you guys with the stakes, starting to amp up this late in the season?
Fun baseball, I think it's gonna be really fun. I think it's gonna be fun to be between the lines, playing for your team, playing for the university.
In a game like this where the wind's blowing out, is it frustrating to pitch in a stadium over here? And when the ball's flying out, is there any nervousness out there when everyone's on fire?
No. At the end of the day, he's still got to put a good swing on the ball to you can't hit an infield pop-up out. You might hit one a pop-up out, but you're still just competing. I feel like if I execute the pitch where I'm supposed to, it's a good chance of that guy getting out. It's Muni. We pitch here all year. We know. We pitch here in the fall. We know how it is. Especially with the winds. Especially today, I think they're blowing pretty good. So, you just take adversity with it and you run. Just keep going. Just trying to get outs.
Going off of that, obviously you guys have things stacked out there, number 4 out there. Today, we was out there, and then Jackson rotated in there shooting for you when that last day came off, last knock came off of where I was bad. What was your thought community as that one kind of came out, and what was your look at it? You had kind of one of the better views looking at Jackson kind of get that one down. I think anybody else probably would have dove for that one. Jackson didn't have to get off his feet.
Yeah, no, I knew he was hit hard, but Isaiah back there, I'm confident he's going to catch any ball that's in the fly zone out there, no matter where it is, pretty much he's going to find it. So I'm going to
Cool, thanks, guys.
And you see it, Ryan Schieffer, Brandon Compton, Ethan Mendoza, Sean Fitzpatrick, and man, the look on Sean Fitzpatrick's face and Brandon Compton. That Schieffer and Mendoza didn't have it, but we want to score 100 runs. Don't want them to score. Don't want to score any. You saw obviously Willie's face to tomorrow's matchup. He's like, no. He's like, we'll be ready. And yeah, the looks on the faces of no need to say anything else. So, let's hopefully they're getting a nice little getting a good stretch, good recovery in today that they had, and then tomorrow they will be taking on Arizona at Phoenix Muni. Again, get on out there. I want to say 6:30. I think 6:30 again is first pitch. Yeah, I want to say 6:30 is first pitch, so I will let you know. But yeah, going to take a quick break. When we get back, going to wrap up with softball. Teeny bit of overtime here, but going to wrap up with obviously softball, senior weekend. Well, yeah, they didn't do senior day yesterday. They actually did it Saturday night after the game. But yeah, awesome to see. So I'll wrap that up and a few other news and notes on the other side. So I will step aside and wrap up Pitchfork Lunch right after this. All right, I am back here on Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caracino at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as the Twitter. You can see the show live here every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. My IG, michael.caracino.5, and my YouTube. Go to YouTube, watch it there live too, but you can subscribe. Please go subscribe as well. Tell your friends in Sun Devil Nation because, again, always interesting stuff to talk about. I'm going to talk about, obviously, schedules, working on getting some more coaches on before, again, I wrap for, summer break and get ready for the fall, all that excitement. But yes, go to the YouTube channel. It's at Emmons and Michael V's and Victory C's and Cat 005 at MVC005 on the YouTube and subscribe away. But yeah, just a few gems from senior night. As you can see, Marissa Schauld right there, who started his career with the school down south. Said, hey, but you come here and obviously go to college. Yeah.
Marissa is joined in the field this evening by her dad, Jeff, mom, Crystal, and Tammy, Uncle Ed, and her cousin.
Yeah, so you see Marissa Schauld there, staff, Coach Bartlett coming down, and then also family, and she again, this kid. Go back there. But yeah, so and they're headed to the two Warriors Saturday night. That's on senior night, and then also here, I know we saw her leaving the mound earlier.
Indiana, number 14,
transferred from Ball State, and it's been an absolute blur this year.
Taking over as the number one starter.
Yesterday for her, for very for a few minutes now, right? From 14, 15-year-old player, high school recruiting at Ball State to finishing up here at ASU for Deb Jones on it said senior weekend, but again, and for obviously family there and coaches and for happening, so they are there. It's Deb Jones, and then I got this for you guys. Obviously, all the seniors that were honored. Petcher as well next to Deb Jones. Again, so just absolutely awesome Saturday night. And again, what Coach Bartlett did again, was sending Deb Jones out for the 7th, letting Mac Osborne come in and finish the game, but just to kind of get the ovation from the crowd with what she's put in. Again, not that she wouldn't have seen a lot of pitching time, but with the injuries that happened, so they fall to UCLA 8-4, and again, the UCLA sweeps the series. Oh yeah, 6:30 p.m. tomorrow, by the way, for baseball. So just a reminder, but we'll get to that tomorrow as well. So that being said, that is that. But yeah, I mean, softball, when you look at the for the softball tournament, so Oregon State will take on ASU. Oregon State, the 8 seed, ASU, the 9 seed, 7 p.m. Wednesday, May 8th. Yes, this Wednesday. They will be taking on the Devils. It's on the Pac-12 network. The winner of that game the winner of that game wins a matchup with number 1 UCLA. So we'll see. I mean, if ASU does win that, just playing them, who knows? We'll see. And then number 1 UCLA. Now this all is at in Stanford. Stanford is hosting at the Boyd and Jill Smith Family Stadium. Just so you know. But May 8th through 11th. And that is that. So so that's Wednesday, and then the winner will take on UCLA, get to the rest of the bracket tomorrow. But man, hats off. I mean, Coach Bartlett, that team has battled all year, and the fact that they have, and again, it's your competitors, you're supposed to, right? But the fact that they have, it's one of those things where look, I mean, could you get hot and win 3 games and advance to the postseason? Sure, but it would be it'd be a little bit of a tough road. But talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. But they battled against UCLA. I mean, just absolutely battled, and that's what one loves to see. They've done it all year. As the injuries built up, and you saw, I mean, on senior night from being down on the field, you see quite a few that are not seniors, but players that are missing. And then to unfortunately have another player had to leave the game yesterday. We'll see what happens. Hopefully again, better. But when it's that kind of season, as any coach knows in any sport, it is, it's a tough one. So, but look, I love, again, just Coach Bartlett's obviously message, theme, and just getting it rolling. So that is that, again, like I said, senior night, very cool to see. And then baseball yesterday, I mean, going to both the double, the super matinee day. But it was pretty awesome. So just got to say that. But I'm going to get out of here. Again, any thoughts, comments, anything, hit me up on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, at Diablo00. See the show live here every day, 12 to 1. My IG, Michael.Caratino.5, and the YouTube channel, guys. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005, at MVC005 on YouTube. Subscribe. Go catch up. Again, you'll have the summer to catch up on a lot. But even from back in the fall, again, and we Pitchfork Lunch, again, I am home of Pac-12 Coach of the Years. So coaches of the year. So not years, coaches, Pac-12 Coaches of the Year. So you can go back and check it out at MVC005 on YouTube. So have a great rest of your Monday. I will see you tomorrow as we get ready for that team down south to come in to Phoenix Community to take on the Devils, and we shall go from there. Have a great rest of your Monday. I will see you tomorrow. And yes, you know it. As always, Pitchfork Lunchers, it's a Sun Devil state, but forks up.
Terry's free. Johnny Walker matching up against control. His shot. Bruce Moore, they score. They tie the game up 2-2. Recent drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her 3 right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for 3. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse. Wow.